Welcome back to Dunstan Kiwi Bred. Former 2000 Guineas winner Adelante has joined the growing stallion roster at Mapperley Stud. I spoke with Sims Davison about the growth of Mapperley and the newest addition to the Matamata Stud Farm. Sims Davison might have found the right stallion to put his Matamata Stud Farm on the map. Classic winning Fastnet Rock stallion Adelante has kicked off his first season at Mapperley Stud, and Davison is wrapped with the support he has received.
There's a lot of quality about him. There's everyone that comes and looks at him, books in the mare. He's one of those horses that's got a lot of quality about him, and he's sort of one of those horses that makes you want to send a mare to him. When people ask me sort of what type of horse he is, all I've got to say is that the best judges have bought him and supported him throughout his short career already, and that really sums that up pretty easy, really. He was bought in Sydney Easter by Mark and Shelley Trewick, and for those that know him and been in the game, they're the best pinhookers in the game. They only buy quality, they only buy horses that they believe in. So they brought him back to New Zealand and sold him at the Ready to Run market, where another great judge, Bruce Perry, bought him, and he's had fantastic results and luck lately over the last couple of years.
Davison was attracted to Adelante as a racehorse. The winner of the Group 1 2000 Guineas at Riccarton under the guidance of Cambridge trainers Murray Baker and Andrew Forsman, showing he could compete at an elite level.
Adelante kicking again, Shanboard can't quite go with him, and it's Atalante's Guineas, 1 3/4 on Shanboard.
He was a horse that we looked at. I was looking obviously at very close. I think everyone sort of was when he came out and won his maiden race and went from a maiden to winning the Canterbury Bell Stakes, and then he was hot favourite leading into the Guineas, and then he didn't disappoint. So I think at that stage probably every stud master would have been looking at him going, "God, a son of Fastnet Rock would love to have him." So that's what first sort of drew my lights to him, and then I obviously followed him when he went to Australia, and then through the syndication process we managed to purchase the horse. So it was a little bit of a process, but we got there and we were absolutely wrapped to secure him, really. And he's got a fantastic syndicate which we needed to secure the horse, and I pretty much wrote a list of 50 breeders that I wanted in the horse, and I started at the top, and everyone that picked up the phone took a share. So it was fantastic.
Davison is at pains to point out the Fastnet Rock factor. Adelante goes to stud as the highest earning son of super sire Fastnet Rock at stud in New Zealand, and one of just 5 Group 1 winning sons of that stallion at stud in Australasia this season.
There's so many positives about sons of Fastnet Rock. They just go on and on and on. Like he's leading sire. At the English sale, he was. He's just breaking every record there. He's got 21 Group 1 winners already. His first sons have just gone to stud, have just finished off their first season sire. Hitchinbrook obviously cleaned up that. He had Rothsay in 4th place. He's got 3 more sons coming through that are just their oldest, the rising 2-year-old now, with Foxwitch, Wanted and Your Song. He's breaking every stat. He's a serious sire of size. He's proven to be, and it was very easy to promote that side of him. And obviously he had a lot of raw ability as well. Like he probably won the Guineas the hardest. He sort of hung a little bit, and he was sort of a little bit immature in the way he did it, but he just added that pure quality and immense ability that did it for him, and that's what I look for. And then he went over to Australia. There's been a lot of Guineas winners that have gone to Australia and failed. It's hard to get back up again, but he did that, and at that 4-year-old when he came out and won that the Drummond Golf Stakes back at 1200 metres after racing at 1600 metres in Guineas, and he bet Trust in the Gust, who was unbeaten, went on to win 3 more Group 1s that year, and Lucky Hustler, who also went on to win another Group 1.
Adelante boasts an enviable pedigree out of more than ready mare Ready for Catherine.
We've already talked a lot about Fastnet Rock, and there's no need to talk any more about that horse, but all you have to do is have a look at his, the dam sire of More Than Ready, and jeepers, we're just almost talking about as good as horses as Fastnet Rock. He's been a super sire, leading 2-year-old sire in Australia and America. He's broken all sorts of records. He's had 143 stakes winners. He's been a freak of a horse, and then you've only got to drop back one more again. You've got King Mambo, and so one of the people that I take a lot from what they say. They said to me, one of the nicest horses I've ever seen, at Stallions, was King Mambo in the States. So, I think when you look at Adelante, and he's a good-looking son of Fastnet Rock, and you look at the More Than Ready, and especially the King Mambo, it's not a bad recipe to produce a horse, and that's what it's done. It's quality. So, and he's also out of a stakes winning mare as well. She won 6 in Australia, which is not easy to do. So. She's a young mare. She's only going to go to the best. She's gone back to Fastnet Rock. She's in Foal to Exceed and Excel. there's a lot of big positives in that pedigree, moving forward in the future.
With pedigree, performance and good looks, Adelante is a popular choice with breeders, and adding to that is an attractive $8,000 service fee.
Even though he was a well syndicated horse, we wanted good support from the outside, which we think is important these days. It's the industry is in a tight spot, and people, at the $8,000, we think he's great value. Group 1 winning son of Fastnet Rock, and that's where hopefully people can, if we do well of them and clients can do well of them, well, it's just good business really. So we thought that $8,000 was a great fee for a horse, like that, and especially moving forward with Fastnet Rock and his sons at stud. It's going to be pretty hard to get another Group 1 winning son of Fastnet Rock on this side of the country. So no, we're actually thrilled by him.
Adelante, a son of Fastnet Rock, going great guns in his new career. And Emily, you had a personal connection to this horse.
I sure did. I looked after him in Sydney for the Baker Forsman team, and what a magnificent individual. A pleasure to look after, that's for sure. It's now time for this week's Pedigree of the Week, Australian Group 1 winner, Pasadena Girl. There's nothing like a Group 1 breeding win to get the corks popping. That was the case for Blandford Lodge's Graham and Helen Gay backs, who celebrated their third Group 1 breeding success when Pasadena Girl won last season's Champagne Stakes at Randwick. The Champagne Stakes was just Pasadena Girl's fourth start, but it was her third win, all three coming in stakes company after earlier success in the listed Talondirt Stakes and Group 3 TBV Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes, both at Flemington. Savabeel filly Pasadena Girl is the first foal of Redout's choice mare Nina from Pasadena, a winner of 3 races for Hamilton trainer Graham Rogerson, and a sister to group-placed Renewed Vitality. Nina from Pasadena hails from strong European bloodlines as a daughter of Green Desert mare Real Pizzazz, herself a daughter of well-related Nashwan mare Panache Arabelle. She came into the Backs' possession through a private sale negotiated with Rogerson. Graham Backs admits he initially feared he paid too much for the mare, but through Pasadena Girl's success, the deal subsequently has proved promising, especially as he was unable to sell her next foal, a sister to the Group 1 winner, a year after Peter Moody met the $25,000 reserve on Pasadena Girl at the Melbourne Yearling Sales. The Backses have named Pasadena Girl's younger sister Nina's Ballerina and hope to see her out as a 2-year-old later in the season, while Nina from Pasadena has since produced an Ocean Park filly, which Blandford Lodge will present sale as a yearling in Sydney next year, and she has a Rock and Pop foal due this month. Nina from Pasadena will return to Savabeel this season. Waikato Stud's Banner Stallion, the Cox Plate winning Savabeel, who began stud duties in 2005, has now sired 10 Group 1 winners and a remarkable 42 stakes winners. This week's Pedigree of the Week was proudly brought to you by International Animal Health Products.
That wraps up another edition of Dunstan Kiwi Bred. Join us next week when we're at Westbury Stud to look at the growth of the farm under the guidance of Jerry Harvey and meet the second son of Fastnet Rock to retire to stud in New Zealand this season, our Rocker. We also check out Georgia Marianne Simon's Mana Park and discuss the breeding of Group 1 winner Turn Me Loose. There's plenty to look forward to next week. I look forward to your company then.